probably the second part of ranking universities in the US from top 1 to the 50th. Now, currently we are at the 30th place. Now, the 30th place, it's originally Wake Forest, but I'm going to rank it lower. I'm going to put Tufts over here because, look, although Tufts is expensive and it's technically, it represents itself as comparable to Harvard and Stanford, we know that it's not, but overall, it's a pretty good school. It's definitely more economic than many other universities, such as University of Washington, and its reputation is very high. It's basically good in biology and medicine, which is very rare among the universities in the first 30. Is extremely famous in, by biological engineering, and also in medicine, extremely famous in these majors. So I would definitely rank it higher in 30th place. It's currently in a 32nd place, but I'm gonna rank it higher. Now, next one, we have Wake Forest. Why Wake Forest in the 35th is because Wake Forest is good in some majors, such as business, but compared to UC Irvine or University of Florida, they're definitely much higher ranked than you in all these majors. And for the other majors, now you're just lower in rankings overall. I don't know why you're put in 30th place and never changed. You're actually determined in this place, but you're not economic. You cost 62,000 a year, and many students got in debt going to your school. I don't recommend it. Next one, 29th place, UNC, solid school. Many people mistake it by it's kind of like an engineering school, but no, it's more of a history or a law or psychology kind of school. It's good in all these three majors, not technically good in engineering, but it's a solid school again. And what's best about it is because it's probably the most economic and most economic and prestigious university in the U.S. Because look, it's even much cheaper than Wisconsin, but it's higher ranked than Wisconsin, so it's definitely more economic. And if you want to climb up the ladder, get a master's or even a bachelor's at other universities or in UNC, I probably recommend you to stay in UNC because during your bachelor's, during your master's, you're gonna have kind of medicine medical program, and currently it's ranked third place in national ranking in medical majors. So I definitely recommend it if you're studying medicine. Now, next one we have USC. Now, USC is currently ranked in 25th place, but I'm going to rank it lower because, look, USC is pretty famous for many of its majors, but overall, it's too expensive to attend. $63,000 for a bachelor degree for 4 years, not very worth it overall. You have psychology, engineering, sociology, accountants, all these majors associated with business you're good in. However, the most most disadvantage about this university is because it's pretty unsafe. Although it had some, guards, some school, university security guards, or some police officers that would escort you across the town, but overall, it's not very safe. And many people actually got shot on sight and around the university. There are gangsters and fire and crossfires all going on. It's not very safe overall, and it's not cheap either. Now, now up the chain we have the University of Michigan. Now, why I ranked it higher is because it should be ranked higher. University of Michigan is actually probably one of the best universities in the U.S. for psychology and also sociology and engineering. All these problem majors, and it's much cheaper than many of the private universities. It's currently public, and the place for it. Although I know Ann Arbor is pretty kind of boring to attend, but overall it's pretty economic. It's well known. If you want to climb up the chain to get a master's or bachelor's or even a professional degree, I would recommend you go there. It's a little bit more expensive than Wisconsin and UNC, but it's definitely worth it. Now, next one we have Georgetown. Now, this is a university that's complicated. In world ranking, it's bad as hell. Currently, a 300th place or 200th place, I guess. It is pretty low in world ranking. However, it's because of it's very small, but it's probably one of the best universities in law. or the best university in law. Sometimes we would even say that it's better than Harvard. Sometimes, although it is pretty expensive, we know it's pretty expensive. But as the word says, when it's more expensive, it's definitely more worth it. A penny is a penny's worth. Now, next one we have on the chain. Well, Emory, yeah, Emory. I think Emory in the 22nd place, pretty solid. It's pretty good in medicine. I think in pre-med or medicine or anything related to biology is pretty good in all these majors. It's a little bit more expensive than usual, but it's definitely worth it. $57,000, not more expensive than any other research private institutions, so definitely worth it. And if you're only if you're only planning on getting a bachelor's, then this is probably your school if you got in. And next one we have, I think, is Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame is currently in, let me see, 18th place. I'm gonna rank it lower because look, I love Notre Dame in some aspects, such as its fighting Irish and its campus, beautiful campus, but overall, I don't think you were probably good in any major after all. Look, you were good in accountants, but not the best in accountants. There are many other business schools that are better than you and cheaper than you. But overall, I think that you're a solid school. But look, currently you don't have a solid major, so I'm going to rank you lower. You're not famous at all. You are pretty expensive to attend. Sorry. Now, in the 20th place, we have NYU. Why I ranked it by 5 rankings? Because firstly, it accepted me. It's the most obvious reason. But secondly, it's kind of like the most complicated university in the first 50s. It's because, well, NYU is a good university. It's good in kind of life sciences. It's good in business, law, and economics, because behind it's Wall Street. But look, it's probably one of the most expensive universities in the US to attend, but it's worth it if you're studying only for bachelor's. It's definitely worth it. It's the same as the other business schools. But what sets it apart is because of its famous, is because of its extremely famous reputation. Although the reputation is not necessarily good, but still, it's very famous. And behind it, you have Columbia. And if your family is pretty rich, then you could planning to stay in NYU for a bachelor's and therefore transfer to Columbia for master's, or and other universities for professional degree or PhD. It's definitely worth it, but it's pretty expensive to attend. It's only useful. It's only suitable for old money or some kind of rich oil industry, you know, cartels or something. Okay, next one we have 19th place, which is UCLA, and 18th place UC Berkeley. These two universities have been rivalry for years, but overall, I think UCLA is more famous than UC Berkeley. Although UC Berkeley is technically better than UCLA in many aspects, such as, well, it's better than UCLA in electrical engineering, but still, UCLA is pretty solid in all aspects of engineering. It's a little bit lower in rank, but still catching up fast. And currently, it's in the first place in national universities, I think. So, well, UC Berkeley, your place is definitely threatened, but personally, I think UC Berkeley is a solid school. A little bit better than UCLA, not much. But these two universities, what sets it apart is because UC Berkeley, it's much more expensive to attend than UCLA. And when I say much more expensive, it is much more expensive. UCLA is $43,000, and UC Berkeley, well, it is actually much, much, much more expensive. It's currently like $60,000. I don't know why. Is it because you're in San Francisco? I don't know, but it's definitely not economic at all. And many other. Now, what actually sets these universities apart? I'm maybe going to talk about it in the next video. It's because, well, in the UC system, you're going to have the chance or opportunities to transfer, but nowadays it's getting harder to transfer, so your ranking is definitely going to be lower in ranks. Now, next one, we have Rice. Rice is currently in 15th place, but I'm going to rank it lower because, firstly, still, the same reason as many others, it's good in computer science, but it's extremely expensive. It's currently $54,000, but it's definitely higher, like $60,000, because it's living in a rich area. Living in a rural area, but it's more expensive than many other schools. And compared to other universities such as Brown or Cornell, I don't know why it's ranked higher than Cornell. I don't know. Cornell is a prestigious university. Why is it ranked higher? And now I'm gonna talk about later. Next one, we have 16th place Cornell. Not a lot to talk about it. Although you rejected me, I'm probably gonna go to your school if you did not. But I'm gonna say it fair and square. Cornell is good university. I think it's better than Brown in many aspects, but I asked many Americans and many of my American friends and international friends. They all say that Brown is better than Cornell. I don't know why. In world rankings, Cornell is definitely better, and in life sciences and medicine, it's definitely better than Brown. But Brown is better in business and many other aspects, so they definitely have a fair fight. Next one, in the 13th place, we have Brown and Vanderbilt. Now, the 13th place is ranked pretty solid because, these two universities are pretty prestigious. Brown is Ivy, and Vanderbilt is probably the most famous university other than Ivy. But overall, I think Brown should be ranked higher. Although I don't know why Vanderbilt is ranked the same ranking as Cornell, but I think as Brown, but I think Vanderbilt Brown should be ranked higher if it's an Ivy. Nowadays Ivy is definitely much more fluctuated than usual. Brown is currently 65,000 to attend. Vanderbilt 60,000 to attend. But Brown is an Ivy, so it's definitely worth it. If you're planning on getting a bachelor's in business or economics, go to Brown. If you're planning on getting an engineering degree, then probably you should go to Vanderbilt, because it's better. It's actually better in engineering in all these universities. So yeah, you should go to Vanderbilt in the engineering. Now, next one we have Dartmouth. Now, Dartmouth is extremely low ranked in world ranking, currently in the 250th in QS, I think, even lower in US News. I don't know why you upset the jury, but you're definitely ranked pretty low. And I don't know why you're ranked better than Brown and Cornell. Still, I don't know why Cornell is the worst ranked university in the worst ranked Ivy in the US. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. In world rankings, definitely higher than Brown or Dartmouth, but currently it's lower ranked nationally. Maybe it's because of its business program, I guess, but I don't know. Dartmouth is good in chemistry. It's not a business. It's not a kind of business school. It's good in chemistry, but let's be honest here. You have many other universities that are better than you in chemistry, such as Duke or Northwestern, but I don't know why you're ranked so high. But I'm gonna still put in this place. Dartmouth, pretty solid school. I don't want to upset anybody. I just put Dartmouth over here. Dartmouth. The next one we have Duke and Northwestern. Now, personally, I appreciate all these two universities. I went to Wisconsin partly because there's a thing called the tenth best league, although it's not in overall 10 schools. It's about 18 schools currently, but I went there because you can transfer, or you can get a better chance of getting a bachelor or master's degree or PhD from all these prestigious Northwestern or Duke universities. But overall, I think Northwestern is better because Northwestern is one of the best universities in U.S. in kind of engineering, or it's actually overall better than Duke in sophomore engineering, I think. Yeah, better than Duke in sophomore engineering and economics and chemistry, all these kind of things. So I think Northwestern should be ranked higher, and I don't know why, but there's a trend currently that states that Northwestern is comparable to Northeastern. I don't think so. Northwestern are definitely higher ranked and a much better university than Northeastern. They just match their names by consequence. And Duke, I think it should be ranked lower a little bit over here. Duke is famous for medicine and social science, but in engineering, which is very vital in probably one of the most prestigious universities in U.S. It's very vital. I think Duke is not very good in engineering. Northwestern is much better. Now, next one in ninth place, we have Caltech. Now, Caltech, I think you should be ranked a little bit higher. And here, Caltech. It's good in mechanical engineering, probably the best mechanical engineering school in the U.S. But compared to other universities such as MIT, it's definitely a little bit lower. But overall, I think Caltech should be ranked a little bit higher, not the ninth place, but the eighth place. Now, Johns Hopkins University, this university is a little bit weird. It's extremely good, the best university in the world for medicine. But for other majors is pretty bad. Many people apply there for its engineering programs, but I don't know why. But its engineering is not ranked too high, just solid in the rankings. Now, next one we have seventh place. We have UPenn. Now, UPenn, pretty solid place in the seventh place, pretty solid. UPenn over here. Now, next one we have. Let me think. The third place, yeah, Harvard, Stanford, Yale. I think Harvard should be ranked higher than MIT at least. Harvard should be ranked the first place because it's Harvard. Whatever, it's Harvard, and Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. Yeah, these are the three universities that I think should be in the first place. MIT in the second place because you're pretty famous, but also your engineering school. You're good in engineering mainly, but not in a lot of other things such as chemistry or sociology or business. You're not pretty famous for that. And for the second place, we have Stanford. I think Stanford is pretty solid. Should definitely be ranked higher. Stanford. I think sometimes it's even more comparable to Harvard. I think. So we're gonna rank it here. Now, what upsets me a lot is because why you ranked Columbia so low. Columbia is currently in the fourth place in medicine and probably first 10th place for engineering. Why is ranked so low? I think it deserves a sixth place. Really, it deserves a sixth place. It has a good geological place. It's currently in New York, and it's actually a little bit cheaper than UPenn or Harvard. And it's pretty well known for all its majors, and it's pretty solid. The campus is extremely beautiful. The first university I went to is actually it's actually Columbia, I think. Yeah, first university I went to is Columbia, and it's always been my dream school. I don't know why it's lower ranked in here. In world rankings, it's definitely higher. It's higher than UPenn, higher than many other universities such as Yale. I don't know why it's ranked so low. I think you should be ranked in sixth place. A pretty solid school, and I think you should be in a big seventh in U.S. in a big seventh. It is a little bit better than Caltech, so I think you should exclude Caltech and bring Columbia in because it's definitely better in many of the majors. It's better. It's better overall, and it's probably much more famous than Caltech. So yeah, well, that's it for today. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching.